Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That is Jules. John is not with us this week. He's got something going on. But it was a good weekend, Jules. I had a lot of fun gambling, man. I don't know about you. Did you? I mean, 4 out of the 6 games were kind of blowouts. I don't know if this extra game is helping anything, but I enjoyed it regardless. How about you, man? Did you win anything this week?
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I had a lot of fun this weekend with that type of shit. But look, let's like recap it. I mean, we went into a somber Monday last week thinking like, oh my God, what is the state of the New York Giants? And literally by the end of Sunday, everybody was jumping for joy, high-fiving each other because Gettleman retires, Judge gets fired, Philadelphia gets embarrassed on Sunday by the Bucs. It was like the Bucs were just having fun with them. And then, you know, literally you watch this fucking somewhat of a nail biter that never should have been a nail biter, but ended up being one. And then, like, you know, all these like crazy ass Cowboy fans trying to blame the refs for the loss.
Oh my God,
they couldn't spot the ball. And it's like, yo, dude, your star quarterback, that is, by the way, the 3rd highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
crazy.
Got the football with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, all 3 timeouts remaining, a bunch of players that were key players on the 49ers defense hurt, and he doesn't go anywhere. And then you're going to turn around and be like, because there was a miscommunication between Dak Prescott, the center, and the referee, that's why you lost the game? Yo, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, to me, that was I didn't even go on it, but that was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my entire life. They had 14 penalties against them, but the reality is your fucking superstar $40 million a year quarterback has the ball with 2:40 left. That's an eternity in the NFL nowadays. And all 3 timeouts and not one person injured on offense, except for if you want to say that Ezekiel Elliott with a slightly torn ACL, PCR, whatever the hell it was in his knee from week 4, right? Cool. Tony Pollard looked better than him all season. You still had all the weapons, Schultz and Lamb and all these, and you couldn't get, what did you get, 1 first down? Dude, come on, man. You're talking about being overrated.
Why did they run the ball on that last play when all throughout the last drive they were throwing the ball out of bounds? I'm like, oh my God, they keep getting 30-yard chunks, and then all of a sudden he decides to run a QB draw with like fucking 16 seconds left. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, the referee, like, that's his job to touch the ball and spot it. He has to do that. You have to take that into account. Like McCarthy, I thought he should have been fired like right there on the spot after that bullshit. And then like all the fucking dumbass fans were throwing shit at the referee. And then you see the interview with Dak Prescott saying like, oh, you shouldn't throw it at our players. And then the beat writer was like, well, they were kind of throwing it at the refs. And he's like, oh, well, that's fine then. Yeah, you can't fucking say that, even though the reporter kind of led him into that joke. I could assume he's kind of joking, but you can't say that as a star quarterback in this league. You know what I mean? And then sure enough, he got bashed by the NBA officials, came out and went after Dak Prescott today, saying he should have never shot. Yeah, they came out. The NBA Basketball Association referees came out and said you should have never said that. But, you know, going back to the game, I mean, it was just, San Fran outplayed them for like 3.5 hours. But the only reason they got back in the game, Dallas, was because of fucking Jimmy Garoppolo, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, 2 things. He throws that dumb pick, which they should have never allowed him to roll out to begin with. And then the other time, it was 4th and 1. He didn't allow Trent Williams to set himself before he snapped it. Like, what are you doing? Like, can you imagine being on that plane if they lost that game? I'm like, no wonder why these fucking the coach Kyle Shanahan and the owner wants Jimmy Garoppolo out. It's obvious, right? We were arguing with people. You see my social media feed, like arguing with Giants fans, like they want, Jimmy Garoppolo to be quarterback. I'm like, it'll be the fucking same shit if he came over here. He don't have fucking Debo. He don't have, Kittles. With these two leaders in the NFL that gets yards after catch. And so, and a terrific running game, by the way. We don't have any of that. So if you think
Kyle Shanahan calling the plays.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Where he's like one of the best play callers in football, period, stop. All right. Like,
mind-boggling.
Offensive minds, I should say, currently, because he is not a head coach he was the play caller in Atlanta, but which got him the San Francisco job.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, dude, like it was an absolute like. First of all, it was disgraceful on Dak's part. I know he's gone out and he's publicly apologized, but you got your fans all riled up and they're throwing things at these referees, and you're gonna turn around and your reaction is, well, yeah, I guess they deserved it. No, they didn't, dumbass. You're $40 million a year, couldn't drive your team down the field, even for a fucking field goal. You're down 6. If you get all the way down the field, they at least get a field goal range, you're down 3. And now you just need to stop and you get the ball back and you get tired and send it overtime. So stop, all right? He's an overpaid crybaby who is on a fucking loaded offensive team, okay?
Loaded.
And honest to God, the reason why the Cowboys didn't win and aren't more dominant in the NFC is because of Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said that. He is not that good. He is fucking overrated. Does he look good on that team? Yo, Mike, we talk about it all the time when we look at like, waiting back in the pocket. There were times against that San Francisco defensive front, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
he had like 4, 5, 6 seconds to throw the ball, and he still couldn't find a receiver. He's overflowing. He's throwing him over the head. He's missing him. He's throwing it at the ground. I mean, dude, are you kidding me? And then you're going to take a shot at the refs? Dude, I'm sorry. If I was a Cowboys fan, and I do know some that were actually pissed at Dak, dude, I would be so angry. You know the way I could get. I wouldn't even be able to talk about Dak Prescott right now. That's how angry I'd be with him. Me making all that money, and that's the reason why we fucking lost. No other fucking reason.
Oof.
But anyway, enough about the goddamn Cowboys. No.
Yeah, I know, but I tell you, that San Fran running game just like kind of just obliterated Dallas, man. They couldn't really stay. They couldn't get out. Get their defense off the field. Like even like Kittles was staying in. Like I think he had 1 catch the whole day. He was staying in to just block because they, if they had him go out catch passes, they don't want to do that because Garoppolo is kind of like a liability in that aspect. They don't want him throwing down the field. They want him to throw those slants and those little screens where these guys get those yak yards. So my man Kittle stayed in and just blocked pretty much the entire game. And they just pretty much ran the ball with even Debo in the backfield running the ball, man. Like that dude's a fucking monster, man. I tell you, it's gonna be a good game in Green Bay.
Oh, that should be a fun game to watch.
I can't wait. That's a game.
We're gonna get into that when we get into the pick'em segment later, but for sure, like dude, no. But like you got to look at. I mean, you want to talk about how like creative they are with offensive play calling. They converted a wide receiver, and this dude looks better than their running backs. And Debo, like it's insane, dude. Like
looks better than ours.
For real. Like you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, right. He's showing up Barkley right now. I mean, dude, it's insane. Like they even had him like because you do those fantasy playoff pools where you pick them. So now they're actually listing him as like a WRRB as like his like title now because he's kind of like starting at both. I don't know if you can play him in both positions quite yet, but like they're kind of like putting that as a joke because this dude he's getting like 12 handoffs a game. Like what is he supposed to do? It's crazy. And yet, so it just comes to show you that there are a lot of really good creative offensive minds in this game. And there's some that I think that are possible candidates, but before I get into that, I just want to make a quick note just because of the betting, right? And all these gambling apps. I find it, I don't know about you. I think I know about you, but I'm just saying out there for anybody who's listening, man, definitely put your stock in a few different of these apps because all weekend long, one thing I was noticing, and even into tonight, is that each app is going to give you some crazy whacked out special where it's like, you know what, if you're not on FanDuel, you're not going to get that. But if you're not on, DraftKings, you're not going to get this one. If you're not on Caesars, you're not going to get that one. Yeah. And just keep flipping between all of them because I was finding like scores all weekend long with that shit. I mean, they had one where it was, they were calling it like smash the over in the Bills and Patriots game. That thing got down to 9 points.
You could only bet $50 though. They cap you out.
Yeah, well, no, it kept going down. The only thing is that, right, you can only max bet a certain amount of money. But I had like some other thing where I didn't use one of my promotions and I didn't use this. So I was still able to get like $75 on that bet. You know what I mean? Where it was like,
for nothing.
Like score money almost. I'm like, yeah, all right, look down. They can't score 9 points in a fucking NFL game. Like even when it was like, like 45 mile an hour winds and it was like below 0, they still put up like 24 points when they played that time earlier in the season. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on. So I've been like playing a lot of those. But one of the reasons why I brought this up was that show, that sports show McPhee's, I forget, Pat McPhee, I think his name is right.
The punter from Colts, yeah.
Right. I mean, his show is pretty good. He gets a lot of people on.
The
He
show is
actually put a sick bet out on Sunday for the Eagles Tampa, the single game parlay. It was a 4-legged one. It was something where Mike Evans had to go over, let's say, 90 yards, and I don't know the exact. I don't remember the exact details of it, I should say, but like Tampa had to Brady had to throw like 2 touchdowns, and it was all this thing. And the last part of the leg was Scotty Miller was supposed to get 8.5 plus yards, so he had to get to 9 for you to win that last part of the leg. He gets a catch in the first quarter for 1 catch for 8 yards. And doesn't get a look or a target for the rest of the game until late in the fourth quarter. He actually caught the ball, and I think there was a penalty, and they called it back, so he didn't get it.
Right.
And everybody lost that 4-legged ball by a half a fucking yard. So
that should teach you a lesson.
He goes on the podcast, I guess, so his show on Monday, I guess, and it was like going nuts about it because they think they had like a huge bet for that. Like they sent it in, like they would have cashed out, And I guess FanDuel, I think it was them, fell under the pressure a little bit, and they actually credited you back the bet. They said, no, they credited me back the bet, right? So like that was pretty cool because I looked at my phone today and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, how do I have this extra thing in there? And then I saw the email, and basically it was saying, McVay's bet on Sunday, we decided to give you credit on that.
These apps, man, I tell you, they're like fucking drug dealers. They just want to give you a taste so you can pretty much blow through all your fucking money in your account, man. I went on Caesars, which is cool. Like they had like a promotion. Like if you give them like $3,000, they match you 3,000. 300. So I'm like, all of a sudden I had $6,000 in my account. Of course I'm going to do that because I know I'm a maniac. I'm going to bet a lot. And they had one one promo that had like for NBA, if you just bet like I think $50 worth for this month only, you'll get a credit for like $150 to get an NBA jersey. I'm like,
cool. I saw that
like, yeah, so I'm gonna get like an NBA jersey like in the mail or a gift card soon in the mail. But then I'm thinking, I'm like kind of like above I'm like, this ain't the 90s anymore. I'm not gonna go around in the streets rocking an NBA jersey. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking kid. You know what I mean?
Like to the game, no. I mean, at least maybe to the game on maybe not a Friday night game, but like during the week or something.
I mean, shit. Do I break out fucking like in my Timbs and baggy jeans and shit? Like bring it back and shit? Like fucking listen to Tupac?
Underneath?
Holy shit. Like, but yeah, so I got that. I got a bunch of, but yeah, it is cool, man. Like getting all this fucking apps just sitting on your fucking phone. I'm like, this is what I dreamt of all my fucking life. Now, people are gonna lose their shirts.
And like using the drug dealer analogy was perfect because literally, like I'm even sitting there and I'm not I like to bet. I just like the action a lot of the times. I don't really put like large bets down. Like $50, $100 a lot for me, but I'll do a few of them, right? And like now all of a sudden with all these promotions and this and the credits, I got like a decent little bank account currently between the 3 sites. And I'm like, oh, this is scary. Like,
don't give
I
it
don't
up.
want to cash out because I want to just keep playing at least until the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen at like some point. Like they're just going to pull the rug from under you and everything's going to go crashing down, right? You're going to have the whole big bet on it. Where you're like, oh, this can't lose. I'm going to put $100,000 on it. Yeah. And boom, that's it. It's done. And they're going to sit there laughing at you like, ha, ha, got another sucker.
That's what happens, bro. But should we just recap real quickly like the other games that went down?
Oh, sure. Yeah, like you said, the rest are like kind of blowouts, but sure, why not? I mean, Saturday was kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, to start off with like the Bengals Raiders, it was kind of like a blowout for most of the game. The Bengals had their number until they fucking came back a little bit, rest of the way. But I don't know. I don't got that much to say about that game. I think it was just like kind of an easy bet to bet the Bengals. I knew they were hyped up. Like Vegas, they don't got that defense or whatever anymore. So
yeah. No, you're right. That one there, like I just decided just for the hell of it. I forgot. I think we get like 2-1 at that point. Like when the Raiders had that last drive, you could do the live bet, and they were like at like -6.5 or something. So all they needed to do was tie the game. So I suck it in on that quick. I think it was like +125 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they drive it here. Maybe we get a low T action. Who knows?
Yeah,
that was expected. It was good to see. I told you Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati was my bet on our pool, right? That was my bet. Like, I was feeling them the whole time. Like, I can't talk about it. I did screw up a little bit because I was getting so caught up with all those like prop bets and everything that I forgot to fire in on Cincinnati because at one point on one of the sites they were down to 4.5, and I meant to fire in on that. and I didn't, and then looked back again, and it was like back up to 5.5. So it was probably like just for like a quick moment, but but then I did use my brain on the Saturday night game. All right, because of all the hype going on with the Bills and the Patriots, and it's the third, and they're getting all hyped. They're like, I'm getting into it. I'm seeing Jim Kelly doing shots in the fucking tailgate party. I'm like, yo, I was like, you know what? I literally said, no way, this game is not going over 9. So they let you max bet it. I already have money on the Bills. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna throw that max bet.
Yeah, I threw a lot of money on that fucking game too. After I seen the way the game started, I was like, yeah, New England has no chance in this game. So let me just fucking ride with the Bills. And I rode it all the way to the end.
Absolutely.
And then after that game, it was like what the next game was Tampa Bay Eagles, and then Philly had no chance. Like it just shows you like these Alabama quarterbacks, they have no fucking shot in the NFL, man. Jalen Hurts is garbage. I understand he was hurt a little bit. And then last night, we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, like, Philly came out, they let up, they stunk it up, man. It's almost like they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Seriously. I was, for a little while, at least on Sunday night, I was saying to myself, I was like, was Philly the last team to get in? And then I was like, no, they had that shit locked up before the last game of the season. And yeah, they were playing like they were the worst, like they were that extra team that got in. They were horrible, man.
Horrible.
First of all, the NFC East did not deserve to be a division that had 2 teams in the playoffs, okay?
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on. That division is not that good yet. Yes, it's coming. It's up and coming. It'll be back. It's always been a very good historic division, but we're not there right now. We're just not.
Definitely not. And then after that, what was the night game? Was the 49ers Cowboys. We talked about that already.
And then Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's a very
by the
late
way,
game.
Was it JJ Watt, right? Not TJ Watt, rather. He scooped up that fumble. Pittsburgh goes up 7-0. I had them plus 13.5 because the line went up.
That's plus 20.
Like, oh my God, baby. Woo!
So you're sitting pretty at plus 20. I knew it right there. I was like, Pitt is up like plus 20 right there after that scoop. I'm like, just watch Kansas City. And then finally Kansas City turned it on. But I mean, now they got to go against the Buffalo Bills next week. That's going to be a fucking tough game. But before we get into that, last night. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say about that. Remember that movie, The Great White Hype, with Marlon Damon and the Wayans, right?
Yep. The Wayans.
Damon Wayans, excuse me. And I forget if a couple of other guys were in that movie. There's a few of them, right? Where he's like, because they do knock them out as amateurs. You remember the movie, right?
Of course.
And he was like, he hit him a couple of times in the real fight. He's like, yo, you trying to embarrass me on national TV? That's kind of like the way Pat Mahomes in Kansas City woke up. They were like, wait a minute. We're losing to Pittsburgh right now to the first quarter? Oh, hell no.
I mean,
and then he was just like, he was like, we're playing Madden or some shit. I was like, oh, God.
Big Ben looked like he was Mac Jones in that like nor'easter that he played where they allowed him to pass 2 times. I think Big Ben only threw like fucking 14 times. It was kind of pathetic, man. But yeah, it was just kind of no brainer after that, man. I thought originally Pittsburgh was gonna cover, but then I was like, then I changed my mind. I'm like, it's no way. First in Kansas City, I'm like, no fuck way. They look like garbage all year. But last night, man, all I needed was fucking Kyler Murray, Arizona. Arizona started off the year so hot. They're a good team. I don't understand what the fuck happened to Kyler Murray. He just like, if you watch the game, Jules, like last night, why didn't he run like that little bastard was running all year? Well, is he hurt or something? Like, I don't understand because like he didn't run, he didn't scramble, he didn't do anything, man. Like last night, and just they look like absolute dog shit. And I fucking had
caught the headlights a few times. Literally had a couple of drop back passes. He saw like a little pressure and he folded to the pressure like immediately. Instead of trying to scramble out and run down the field. I'll tell you the truth. I think one huge thing that was missing is something that gets overlooked continuously is Diandra Hopkins.
Yeah, D-Hop.
I'm sorry. That guy made fucking Matt Schwab look good at quarterback, okay? Back in Texas, all right? Like, and I forgot who came in that year. That was like some other like fucking quarterback that you never heard of again. And he was still getting like 8 catches for like 110 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins is by far the best. Well, I don't want to say the best, but he is that top 3 wide receiver in the league. All right. Maybe like with this year and the injury, like maybe he goes down to like, top 5 or whatever. But that dude is nasty, bro. When he's on the field and he's healthy, I don't give a shit. I know people are going to start to say Jamar Chase because he had an amazing rookie season. And I know Devontae Adams is always going to get mentioned. But, D-Hop is in that conversation. I mean, it's just not – and you could see that. I mean, look, if you go back to last year when Arizona somehow snuck out a win against Buffalo where they threw that Hail Mary. where
Yeah.
he's scrumbling around and he fucking just hucks it up in the air, right? It was
Yep.
all Deandre Hopkins. There was almost 3 Bill defenders on this dude, and he still caught the ball. Like, he
Still
doesn't
went off.
have that guy. And think about it, when defenses have to worry about that kind of guy on the field, it opens up everything else. It opens up the entire rest of the offense, where it's like, all of a sudden now Zach Ertz is getting one-on-one with a guy. Or, Kirk is one-on-one with the guy. There's nobody really covering the slant. And yeah, Kyle Murray can start making these plays. And then all of a sudden now you take away the spy on the quarterback. And now he could run the ball because there's no spy, because you got to put extra guys on defense to play these receivers. So to me, that's what's missing, because if you notice, Kyle Murray went completely down, right? When did he start? When did his number start really going down? As soon as Deandre Hopkins was immediately out of that fucking line. And that's what I was screaming all night.
So you're saying injuries do matter? That's crazy.
I think they do. I think
just a tad. But last night, I tell you, man, I shouldn't have checked my Twitter feed, because it looked like an Odell Beckham love fest. Like, everybody was just all over his dick last night. I miss you. I should have never traded you. I'm like, listen, I was rooting for the guy too, kind of. Except like I didn't want them to win, because I had Arizona like on the money line to win some fucking big parlays. But listen, I was happy for him, but I'm not gonna be like riding his dick like, oh, you should have never got traded, all this and that. I'm like, just shut the fuck up, everybody. Fucking chill, man. I get it. That's your fucking lover boy, but he's gone. He's on another team. Like, stop.
And even still, like, that's his best game as a Ram, I think. Maybe he had one other good one, since the trade. Like, it's not like this dude went there and he had like this, 120 catch, 17, Cooper Kupp, let's just put it that way, a Cooper Kupp type season. He ain't having that, all right? You know what I'm saying? Cooper Kupp is still the number one guy on that team. Stop. All right. They didn't want to use him. They were beating Arizona without having to really expose him. If you notice, they were using Kupp as a decoy for most of that game.
It looked like it.
Rounds and motioning them all over the place. That's because they're getting ready for Tampa. They knew what they had to beat against their divisional opponent. They knew that they played them twice already this season, and they were ready to play them for this week. And they went out and beat them and executed them with that type of game plan. Because I bet your ass, next week, when they do get ready to play Tampa, you're going to see a hell of a lot less of Odell, and you're going to see a hell of a lot more Kupp. That's for damn sure. All right. And the funny thing is, you mentioned about Twitter with that, was that, I heard somebody even go as far as commenting saying, you know what the best part, who got the best deal out of that Cleveland Giants trade? Odell Beckham. Yeah, maybe he didn't shine in Cleveland, but now he went to a team that knows how to utilize him. And he's going to showcase him and really let him shine. And I'm like, bro, this isn't fucking 10 years ago. He didn't just get out of LSU. Right?
I know.
That ship has sailed, dude.
I'm like, I felt like going at some of these people that were just sweating his fucking balls. I'm like, he dissed our fucking main Hall of Fame quarterback in public. Still, he still did that. He still was a fucking jackass. But whatever. But I guess that's the recap of those games this week. And you want to take a quick break, and we'll get into some more topics.
Definitely.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with me and Jules on the BBO NYG podcast. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG podcast. Jules, what other topics we got?
Well, listen, here's the latest news in the GM search, right? They definitely had Joel Shane and Poles come back in for second interviews. So this is sort of a hot topic. I mean, here are two guys coming from an organization that their offenses put on clinics this past weekend, right, with both Buffalo and Kansas City. And these are two hot candidates. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been a Joe Shane fan, ever since the name started getting rumored, ever since we brought him in and they, quote unquote, said he crushed his first interview. Now he's coming in for a second interview. I mean, look, if I am been a big supporter of the fact if they bring him and Brian Dable in, that's a hell of a tandem. I mean, look, they turned around a Bills offense that was, it was not good. I don't want to say it was as bad or as horrible as the Giants have been in the last 2 seasons, but it was pretty damn close. If I'm not mistaken, like before Dable became the offensive coordinator, they were ranked like 28 or something like that. They were in the high 20s, and he literally turned it around. And in like 1 year, they went from 1, and I think they were 3 this year. So I mean, that says a lot. This guy, I get it. He, I know we don't like to do the whole coaching tree because yes, he worked with Belichick, and yes, he worked with Nick Saban in college. So there's all that, but it doesn't matter. Where he's making his bones right now is on Buffalo. Right. And that offense of what Josh Allen's turned into, the type of quarterback he currently is, that has a lot to do with your offensive coordinator. I mean, I know for a fact that last year, when they were going on that run and Josh Allen's having that breakout year at quarterback, that he wanted Dable to come back. And Dable says, yo, look, no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, I'll come back one more year at least. And that's what his promise was going into this 2021 season. And here they are again in the same position in a rematch against Kansas City. And I know you mentioned it before, but you're 100% right. It's going to be one hell of a fucking game on Sunday night, man. Like that's to me is the game of the weekend. I mean, look, the other ones are going to be good, but that's going to be one that, you talk about like revenge factors and all this kind of stuff, man. I can't wait for that. But, I see that there. I really do. I understand that Poles is going to have the enemy connection. And that's what, that's what's going to probably bring in there through Kansas City. Maybe he goes a little outside and they get someone else. If He's not the right guy, he's not ready for it yet.
I don't want him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? I know there's a couple of the names that are still out there. There's definitely going to be some more interviewing going on this week. I know Harbaugh's still a name getting tossed around out there for head coach. I don't really know what GM will tie into. Maybe the one from Baltimore. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they have some sort of tie because of Harbaugh's brother. I don't know if that's the connection there. Possibly, I don't know.
I think he's using the NFL to get money in Michigan. I think, man.
He might be doing that too. He really might be like, look, I got 3 teams salivating over me. But then there's this other side where, like, there's even a rumor. And again, let's just kind of like go. And I really want to be clear that this is a rumor, okay? That Sean Payton threw his name in the ring. All right, he threw his hat in the ring. That if he could be persuaded and something could be worked out in New Orleans, that he would consider coming and coaching the New York Giants. How true to the rumor that is, I can't really say, but there is some rumors going on about that, where all of a sudden you have 9 different guys interviewing for the GM position of this franchise. You have all these coaches stepping out of the woodwork saying that they might want to come in Harbaugh, and if this Sean Payton rumor is true, and he might. Granted, it would take a lot of work for that to happen. Obviously with Flores, here's a team that has, quote unquote, been one of the worst teams in the last 10 years with our winning percentage. And yet all these people want to get involved. You have all these coaches stepping in. You have all these GM candidates. So, I mean, maybe we're not that far away from being competitive again is what I'm trying to get at. And I do think that, which is a great reason why it was very important that we lasted one more year with your boy Gettleman, because I don't think that this kind of sort of talent-wise of GMs was available last season. There may have been 1 or 2 guys, but you didn't really hear of any big GM signings last year. You didn't hear that, there was a lot of head coaches here and there, but that was a different thing. The GMs kind of stayed placed. They stayed put. And now all of a sudden you got 9 people coming into the interview. So I think like us waiting might have been a blessing in disguise. Yes, as Giants fans, we had to suffer through another season of this, of what we did. But you know what? Who knows? I think the future's bright. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how you stand with that.
Well, Joe Shane, I mean, I think he's the obvious choice. He built the shit out of the fucking Buffalo team, So, I mean, I know that the pretty much obvious thing is he's going to go and get his coach, to be, the offensive coordinator there, what was it, Brian? And, so if like, that's pretty much the obvious. I obviously want Flores. I want him to be the guy. So I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, it doesn't necessarily like if Joe Shane gets a job, it's just automatic going to go with his guy. You know what I mean? Maybe he'll go out and interview these guys. And if they like Brian Flores, maybe they team it up with him. That'll be pretty cool with me. But other than that, I mean, I really have no other say in like, as far as other GMs, let's just get it right. You know what I mean? Just get it right for once, man. I don't want to keep talking about how we failed for another 5 years. We couldn't fucking get it right. We couldn't build up this team. But I tell you, whoever the new GM is, he's going to have a shitload of fucking draft picks and he will have money. Like they could free up. I was reading some article. They could actually free up like close to $45 million if they want to by, releasing a couple of guys, restructuring some contracts. So it's not like that big of a deal where the Giants are just totally strapped for cash. That's like kind of far from the truth, especially with the cap going to go up. And that's going to probably add another $5 to $6 million on top of that 45 if they do decide to go that route. So it's exciting time, man. I'm excited, to see what directions the Giants go. And obviously, Jules, you said it, man, like the Giants is still an attractive place to work, no matter what kind of rumors you hear out there from anonymous sources that are just ripping the team, obviously, because they're probably getting fired, So of course they're going to say some crazy ass shit, but whoever it is, man, we're going to, when they announce it, I think it's going to be end of this week. You're going to hear us on on YouTube and, wherever you follow us, we're going to post some content and our reaction about it. So stay tuned for that.
Definitely, for sure. And you're right. Look, there is no guarantee that Dable's going to leave the Bills either, right? I really think this weekend and obviously next weekend, if they somehow get past Kansas City, you don't know. You don't know where that's gonna lead, because they, if they have something there and they come close again, they might want to push for it one more time, at least from the coaching perspective. So you just never know. But here's the thing with that, because I know you're saying that Flores is one of that's pretty much your top candidate currently as far as who you hope to get to be the next head coach.
You know why, Jules?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Let's hear.
It's just because he's a defensive-minded coach, and anytime the Giants have won something throughout their history, they've won it pretty much on defense, a defensive guy. So I just want that back in the building. That's all.
Well, wasn't Tom Coughlin a wide receiver coach on the '86 team?
Special teams.
Let's throw that one out there. Pretty sure it was.
But my man's focus was defense. He was always fucking preaching it. It wasn't about these like little fucking schemes we're gonna fucking run, man. He was all about fucking running the football, playing fucking D, play action passes. I missed that. I missed that fucking, I missed the big blue wrecking crew. We need that shit back.
I hear you there. I hear you. Now, here's one last thing with that. When I was setting up with the whole Flores head coaching position, is that there's a rumor tied that Deshaun Watson has said that he wants to play for Flores. Now, that also might mean somehow, some way, if they can rekindle a relationship in Texas, that your boy Flores could end up in Houston, and that Deshaun Watson, legal situation aside, might be able to make amends and hug the ownership and love everyone again and stay in Houston. Or is it possible if Flores does take over a position somewhere else, does he now take Watson with him with the right draft capital, which would be the New York Giants? I mean, let's just say that for a quick moment. Let's say it cost us, right? Hypothetically, some of the nonsense we were throwing out with the whole Russell Wilson trade, where, obviously it's going to definitely cost one of our first round picks this year, maybe, a third round pick and another first round next year, let's say. And let's say Watson doesn't have any legal issues. Would you accept Flores and Watson to come to this team with that package sort of in there? I'm sure there's more details to it, but I'm hypothetically speaking.
Well, it was funny, Jules. I always loved Watson, even coming out of college. I love that fucking dude. So, like, I'm a fan of his, and depending on what they think is right and a fair package to trade for him, if they think it's right, the new GM and new coach, then they want him, and that's going to be their guy, because they're going to want their guy. So Jones is on notice, so listen, there's plenty of nice, like, allegedly, I've never heard this to be true or not. I don't know if it's true, but allegedly there's a lot of good, like, massage parlors, a lot of nice rub and tugs in New York City where Deshaun Watson could go to. Like, I listen, I don't know. I've heard stories. I've heard rumors that these places exist. So I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe he could have a fun time here in New York City.
Either that, he's got to go to New England, and Kraft could take him down to Florida. He could show him some really good spots
on a private plane to the Lucy Lou fucking joint. Yeah,
no, fly down to Jupiter real quick and fly back up.
That story went away real quick. How funny how that fucking happened.
That's what money does.
But would you take fucking Watson?
I don't know, man. Listen, I brought that up for a reason. I was tossing that idea around in my mind a few times. Like, granted, it literally has to be legal issues are squashed. Whatever happened. And look, I don't know what it was. Miscommunication. I don't know if he's a little freak. And he just was offering like tons of money to like do weird things to women. And they were like, well, what is wrong with you? We don't know. I don't think he really crossed the line and did anything illegal, because had he done that, he'd be arrested by now. And that's not the case. So I don't think it's to that extent. I think it's probably more along the lines of, I'm not doing that. How much money you give me? But, so you said that aside, the dude's a tremendous talent, man. You want to talk about being big on him, shit. Not to keep always bringing up fantasy football, but dude, I remember making a move in fantasy football back when he was a rookie, where I knew this kid was going to blow it up. Yeah. And I went with him, and I made a trade for Alvin Kamara. I'll never forget this. Where I traded Drew Brees, who was like, unbelievable at that time, and like something else, like another piece to get Alvin Kamara, because I was like missing like that last running back. And I was going to run with Deshaun Watson. And for 2 weeks, my team looked unbeatable. And then that's when Watson went down with that knee injury, lost him for the year. So I mean, so in short, yes. I mean, like I was even tempted to put him on with a couple of my teams this year. I mean, like, the guy is a tremendous talent. If he could put all the legal issues away, if it really only costs us one first round draft pick this year and maybe another one next year, and then we'd have to really start looking at whether or not it's worth it. I mean, you bring him, that's an instant upgrade of quarterback. Like, there's just no like debating it at that point. I'm sorry, he's that much better than Daniel Jones. We're not even going to have that discussion.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be brought up, right? But like, right. Yeah, I think he elevates. I mean, could you imagine him with Kenny Galladay, and then even give me Saquon Barkley what he currently may be at 70%. That's what he might only be for the rest of his career. And then hopefully we get Kadarius Toney for maybe 14 out of 17 games, maybe 13 out of 17 games. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what he would do with that kind of offense.
He said, you said miscommunication. It's pretty much cut and dry in the massage room from what I hear.
I was talking like when he was like talking like some freaky deaky shit where he was just like, bro, I'm gonna do this and this and this explicitly to you.
You don't even have to.
And the girl's like, no, not even you gave me like $100,000 when I let you do that.
You don't even need to say anything, Jules. He just got a point. And if she says no and shakes her head, like, you get out of there.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, he might have wanted some fucking crazy shit. He was like, yo, grab that from that room and this from that room.
I heard
have some fun.
I heard one time he went in there and he seen the hole where you put your face and he just lied on top of the table, put his dick through it.
I know someone else that did that.
Shit.
Well, what's funny is that a name from the past circulated around where Ben McAdoo going to interview for the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, good luck, first of all, right? Like, second of all, I'll tell you this much, right? Yeah, I'll tell you this much. Here we got to put a lot of ifs in there. And I know once you start putting more than one if in there, it's probably not going to happen. But if he does get the job, and if Sam Darnold is still somehow the quarterback, and he could change him around, and Sammy D, like we saw for the first few games of the season, becomes that quarterback, McAdoo is going to be back, and there'll be some. I guarantee this much: there'll be some troll Giant fan that's been hiding somewhere since 2017 that'll pop up and be like, you see, there was rumors that he wanted to get Pat Mahomes, and look what he did with Sam Darnold. Oh my God, can you imagine? And it'll be like everywhere, like, oh my God, we should have never fired him. So I mean, look, hopefully Ben McAdoo learned something through the last few years, right? He's kind of stepped out of the spotlight. He went to like front office, did a lot of work. Maybe he has this opportunity, maybe he doesn't. We'll find out. We'll see how desperate Matt Rule is down in Carolina. And, hopefully he revives his career. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's like early 40s, if that, like, you know what I mean? Like, he could still put together a hell of a coaching career still to go. So who knows? But it was just funny to hear his name, being mentioned and thrown around. I think he was interviewing earlier today. Who knows how that went? We're not going to hear about that for now, at least. I'll
take McAdoo with the shaggy hair. Like, he was a better coach with the shaggy hair than when he fucking went to slick back McAdoo.
The slick back with the suit too big? He borrowed it from his older brother?
Fucking, like, the suit looked like Chris Farley fucking owned it. Man, good luck to him.
Yeah, like, look, this has definitely been a bit of a carousel of a clown show as well. It really has, man. You think of McAdoo, you think back to that name, and again, it's only relevant because he was interviewing for the position of the offensive coordinator. But like, you think about the jokes that we just made with the mustache and the slick back hair and the baggy suit, and then the shaggy look initially. You go to Pat Shermer, who was afraid of his own shadow. Like, that shit literally came out, like, where he needs to stay in that offensive booth and just be the offensive coordinator when nobody sees him. There's nobody around him except his coaches, and then you get what we just had here for the past 2 seasons of Joe Judge. I mean, we need to just bring in someone who sort of just changes that once and for all and could just be a real dude who knows what they're doing and just goes out to get the job done. And that's it.
I tell you, man, like, thinking about it, like, I was thinking about this over the weekend. You know who I would like after the coaches, signed and the GM is signed? I kind of want them to get Nagy, the old coach of the Bears, to be the offensive coordinator. Like, I think he had like Mitch Trubisky in the fucking playoffs, man. He had that guy like better than what he is. And I tell you, with a decent quarterback, I think that dude could have some good success here. But maybe next week we'll go into like who I think our offensive coordinator should be, because after whoever gets hired, we're going to start hearing rumors.
Oh yeah.
So maybe
everything will start from that point on. Yeah. I mean, look, the reality with all that is going to be who the GM is, because for some weird reason, and I've never really been a person to try to like say, oh, if this guy gets hired, then this is going to happen. That guy gets hired, that's going to happen. Yeah. But I really feel like this is a time where the GM is going to make that difference, where there's a reason why the Giants, organization has come out and said, we're going to make sure that this team is tied together through the GM and the head coach, that we're going to have our GM first, and then we're going to go out and get that head coach. because there's something there. And I think they want some sort of combination, whether it's going to be the guys out in San Francisco, whether or not it's going to be, Baltimore coming in and he brings in Harbaugh, or whether or not it's going to be Dable and Shane, or some other combination that we're just not seeing with Poles, or maybe Poles will be enemy. Who knows? Yeah. I just think that somehow, some way, there is going to be a strong tie and relationship to both the GM and the head coach. That's why, like, yes, I like Dable. I like what he's done up to Buffalo. I like Shane. I've said that multiple times. They're currently my sort of like number one as far as for the head coach and GM's positions. But at the same time, if I feel the right combination comes in here, I'd be more than happy with that. And that's sort of what I'm looking for in regards to that.
Well, stay tuned. All right. I guess we're off on that, Jules. You want to go into these the last games of the weekend coming up?
Yeah, let's get into that. So we started this whole little this playoff bracket tournament thing where you have cash prize money and all this type of stuff. You, John, and I have divided up our winnings here a little bit, our total so far. So let's start there really quickly. I know I won at least 3. Well, I lost. What did I end up losing? I only ended up.
I lost the Cardinals. You lost the Cardinals,
but that was a small one, right? I threw like 100 on that, and I put 3 on Cincinnati.
You put 2 on the Cardinals, and yes, you put 800 on the Bengals.
Oh, I put 8 on the Bengals.
Yeah,
all right.
1527. John put 1,000 on the Bucks to win 1,900 shares, and I had the 49ers 500 to win 917. But I also took the over in the Bengals game. I think I lost that one.
Yeah. So where are we total from last week?
So we're in second place. We're at 11,553, but Nancy is at 15,357. She probably just took Tampa Bay. Like, we probably should have just thrown everything on. And then we got King Glue right there in third, and then Rob, Woody's like 4. And finally, Woody's back in 5th place. Let's keep him there. But that's
Woody. Yeah, well, so that's right, because Woody was all in on the Cowboys, remember?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right.
He blew it. So I was like, yo, Woody's gonna get buried with the Cowboys pick. So
he sure
sorry
did
about that, Wood, but I did tell you, man, not to be too crazy about them this week.
He sure did. All right, so let's get into these picks. We got the. Okay, let me see. I don't have the. All right, here we go. I'm trying to look at the picks for this week. Actually, they didn't add up the games. Yeah, they didn't add up the division games yet.
All right.
Sucks. So I think we're gonna have to leave it for one of our skits that we're gonna come out end of the week. We're gonna have to do something, a quick little pick segment when this gets updated. But I guess we could go through the
let's go through the picks anyway. And if I see something I like, I might just throw a number out there for you anyway, and I'll say it here. We'll use one of the betting sites, right? Because
I'm logging into Caesars right now, bro.
All right, there it is. You're clicking on the season. The season awaits. All right.
Yeah. I might actually do a parlay while I'm talking to you right.
Oh
right
boy,
now,
here we go. All right. So
the first game, we got the Tennessee Titans. They're -3.5. They're at home. They're playing the Bengals.
I know that they're not going to expose any kind of thing that they don't have to, right? From a perspective of the Tennessee, from the Titans, because Derrick Henry, how healthy he is a huge factor for me. Huge. I understand AJ Brown is he's healthy, and I even think what's his name, Green is healthy. I think they're healthy, right? Is where I'm getting there. I think Julio Jones is healthy. I think AJ Brown is healthy. If they get Derrick Henry at like 85%. That's a scary team right now. It really is, especially got the number 1 seed. They're at home. But you know what? Personally, I just think the Bengals got something going on. I don't know, man.
Wow.
I hear you. I know people are going to be against me on this.
I am.
I kind of I'm feeling the vibe on them, man, a little bit. Like so much so that, you know what? I said throw 800 on them. I'm not feeling them that much this week. Yeah. So I think I would put like a small 200 out of our bet on the Bengals +3.5.
Wow, I tell you, I like Tennessee on the money line to just win, right? To just win, no spread, right? But I kind of with you. I like it to be kind of a close game because Tennessee, they do play these tight games. Yeah. And remember, Tennessee, Cincinnati, they didn't play each other this year. And you're right, Tennessee is healthy, and I think the Bengals luck streak, they play hard, but I think it runs out this week. I like the
I'll tell you the truth. I know we were getting a lot of just boring games throughout the weekend. I think this weekend is going to action packed.
It should be.
And I really could see that this game goes down to whoever has the ball last, and it's a field goal type winning game where they win by 3. So that's where that half a point or whatever makes that difference. And that's what I'm kind of playing on that one. But yeah, I kind of like the Bengals a little.
The next game, this is another game I kind of like. I'll go first on this one, Jules. I kind of like this. I kind of like taking it's Green Bay. They're -5.5 playing San Fran. The San Fran is just they're playing hot, but they did lose 2 key defensive guys, So, Bosa, remember Bosa went out with the concussion and stuff, but and I kind of like this bet. I like Green Bay money line just to win outright. I think it's going to be a real tight game. I think San Fran definitely keeps it close. And you got to remember, San Fran, they own Green Bay for the past couple of years. They own Matt LaFleur. They just kicked the shit out of him. But this is playoff time. This is different. This is Rodgers. I think Garoppolo had an injured shoulder or whatever. So like if he can't go, but they're saying he's going to practice, he's going to play. But if I'm hoping like he goes out so Trey Lance could get in to get some playoff experience before next year, because that could throw a whole fucking monkey wrench into the whole bet. But I tell you, man, I think I like a parlay of Tennessee money line and Green Bay money line. And I like both those other teams with the points like San Fran and Cincinnati. And I might tease them too and give them extra points in a 2-game tease while I bet the money line parlay just to win straight up between those 2 teams. What do you think?
So that's a lot of bets going on there. To be honest with you.
I do bet a lot.
To me, in all honesty, like looking at it from a better perspective, I won't touch this game until probably sometime around Saturday afternoon, somewhere in between that Tennessee Bengals game, because I need to see how healthy that team is. Garoppolo one way or the other doesn't, I don't know. I think he's going to play. I don't think he's that hurt. I think he's just like fucking a little banged up or something from the Dallas game. Like it doesn't affect me one way or another. But if those key guys are out on defense for the 49ers, look, this is Rodgers with a healthy team, with a really good with a healthy running back duo in Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. All right. You still have probably the best, if not number 1 or 2 or 3 in Devontae Adams. Yeah, they're on a mission. They're looking to get revenge. They got home field throughout. Bro, they're not messing this game up. I don't give a shit how good San Francisco has played lately. If San Fran doesn't have their key guys on defense, I think this game could get ugly. Tell you the truth. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it could get ugly because if they get ahead, San Fran don't have that firepower to come back. I mean, they played each other earlier in the year in Green Bay, and it was the same kind of thing where they were going at it. They were trading shots, and then Rodgers kind of pulled away or whatever. They beat Rodgers in Green Bay that game. Back, I think it was like back in September was when we were playing Atlanta. So that was what, week 3?
Week 3. Yeah.
Green Bay and San Francisco and Green Bay.
Right.
I don't remember the exact outcome of it, but I'm pretty sure that it was like that. And they just didn't have the firepower to keep up with them. And that's where I would have to go with Green Bay. I got Green Bay.
Green Bay -5.5.
I kind of like that. Yeah, man. I think they win by 7. I really do. I'm telling you, they're gonna surprise people. Now, I'll be surprised if the 49ers pull out that upset.
Okay. You said, Jules, you said that the site updated. So you want how much on the Bengals plus 3.5?
200.
200 on that. All right. I'll put that in.
Units.
All right. Packers. Do you want to touch anything with the Packers or you just want to stay away, like you said?
I'm going to stay away.
It's 6 on this site.
Yeah. You know what? I looked at my Caesars app. It's saying 6-2. So
I think I know the game you're probably going to fucking bet. We'll get to that later. But, next game, Tampa Bay and the Rams. It's Tampa Bay's favorite. They're -3. This is a hell of a game, man.
Look, that's what I was saying to you. Sunday is just going to be the fun day, right? Like, like Saturday's got some good ones. I'm rooting for the Bengals and Tennessee. Both those teams, it's great to see them move along. Neither team's won a Super Bowl, so that's always fun. Green Bay 49ers is like that old school classic clashing of 2 Titans and Green Bay and 49ers. But I just don't think they're the same caliber teams that they once were, with the exception of Green Bay, of course. But then you go to this Rams and Tampa game. Look, here, I'm going to tell you this much, and I'm going to really go out there on a limb here. I am going to say that if Fournette is not playing, I don't think Brady beats him. I'm going to be dead honest with you. I do not think he beats them. It's not the Eagles, okay?
Yeah, right.
It's not the Eagles. And, bro, Cam Akers, holy shit, what a story this kid is. After tearing his Achilles earlier in preseason, and he's coming back. Dude, he was shredding Arizona last night. I mean, bro, it was insane. He was running dudes over. It's not even like, you know what I mean? He
I
was
know.
trucking
I
guys,
know. I know.
catching the ball. Like, are you kidding me? The combination of him and Sony Michel is a lot, man. That brings that running game. It takes a hell of a lot of pressure off of Stafford, and then OBJ. Look, he's not Robert Woods. He's a different type of receiver, but he's still a solid, capable number two as long as he's healthy with Cooper Kupp there. You have Tyler Higbee. Dude, it's gonna be a shootout. And if Brady is already down Godwin, he doesn't have Fournette. Yo, man, like they're gonna double team Evans. You know what I'm saying? And then Gronk will do what Gronk does, and that's it. They're not gonna have much of a running game because Keyshawn Vaughn or whatever the hell his name is, he sucked. Ronald Jones is probably out again. Like, that's a difference maker. And to me, again, this would be another game that I would wait for until I see the conditions on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and really see what's going on. Honestly, though, I will, since the site is up, you could put me down for 350 on the Rams +3.
350 on.
Are they three? They're +3.
Yeah, +3.
I'll take the Rams +350. Yep, for
350. I like
now,
that.
You can't buy points in this game, right?
Nah,
I can't use my units to buy points. All right, so it's a little betting thing there.
Can't do that right now. But I'm gonna tell you what I put in. I took a couple action. I took the Titans money line for 1,000. I think they're gonna just beat the Bengals straight up. No points. And I also took the under in the Rams Bucks game. The Rams Bucks is under 48.5. I took like 500 on that, on the under. And just to go back to the other two games, the under over in the Tennessee game is 47, and in the Packers 49 is 47.5. So
I never do good with the under overs, man.
I know, right? I know. I know why I
ever like, dude. It's
I just really like that one.
Once I start thinking about it, it's gonna be the under for sure. Like last night, I was like all over the over, and then it went under. You know what I'm saying? So I'm horrible with those. I don't even try to. That's why I skip past that part of the segment. I'm like, do I have?
I know. All right, this is the last game. I'll go first because I know you're just gonna have a lot to say. It's the Chiefs. They're -2 against Buffalo. The over-under is 55. I tell you what, though, Buffalo's been playing on fire. It's so hard to not take them. But, I mean, we're talking about Kansas City. They've been there before. They have the experience. I know they kind of been up and down here and there throughout the last part of the year, and through most of the year, to be honest. But the way they turned it up against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh got a good defense, and the way they turned them up against them, like, I tell you, I'm taking the over in this game, and I got to go with the Chiefs, man. Jules, what are you thinking about?
So the funny thing is, and I almost could have scripted that you were going to go there and say, well, Pittsburgh's got pretty good defense. I'm sorry. What team was actually leading the NFL in defense going into the last month of the season up in New England, all right? And what did they just have happen to them on fucking Saturday night? They got obliviated.
Buffalo shit all over them.
The fuck up, all right? To the point where fucking the master Belichick was saying, we were not ready for Josh Allen when he's on like that. It's great, bro. That's Belichick saying that shit.
I know.
And let's look down the stretch here. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Steelers, and they lost to the Bengals, and then they beat the Broncos, right? And they demolished the Raiders, who, whatever, we can say whatever about that team. It took them to overtime to beat the Chargers. Granted, I understand division game. And they beat up on the Steelers, and they beat up on the Steelers again. And they lost to the Bengals, and they beat up on the Broncos. Like, show me the teams that this fucking Kansas City Chief team beat. What, they beat the Cowboys? Oh, we could go back to week 9 when they beat the Packers 13-7. Okay? Now, the one thing that has me sort of concerned about this game and why I wouldn't go fucking absolutely dog shit bananas on it is that Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator. And I give that man so much respect because you know what? We do not win in 07. We don't win again in 11. We do not win those Super Bowls without Steve Spags, all right? It's a shame that he didn't run right with New Orleans and that he's just back to being a defensive coordinator. To me, he was one of the best defensive coordinators I've seen in a long time. I don't think he gets enough credit. And because he's an ex-Giant and he won his Super Bowls with us, that's why I'm giving him his props. All right. It's well-deserved. The thing that turned around the most about this offense in Kansas City was the offense started getting more of a rhythm, but that defense has been playing good. All right. And that's sort of the difference of what I've seen in this Kansas City team. So that's what kind of has me a little bit nervous. But I'm going to tell you this much. If that Buffalo team shows up that showed up on Saturday with the whole revenge factor in your mind, this is the bully. that's been beating up on the AFC for fucking 4 years now. It's no more New England. New England's just in your division. All right. This is the big bully, Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. They've been fucking walking around like they got a 12-inch in their pants. All right. Like that's it. It's their conference. Nobody goes for the AFC. It's theirs. You need to go and you need to play like you did, balls to the fucking wall and ball the fuck out. All right. And I think they could do that. And you know what? You want to sit there and they talk about Bills Mafia, they're crying on the field. They're just standing there while every fucking fan left the stadium last year, still hanging out in Arrowhead. Yo, you know what they say, right? Be careful what you wish for. Well, the motherfucking Bills and Bills Mafia wish for this rematch and you got it. So what? It ain't in the championship game. It's in the divisional fucking series. And yes, you still got another one to play to get to the Super Bowl and then the Super Bowl.
Right.
But you got it. This is it. You got it. The bully came around the corner a little early. Debo, from Fridays, riding his bike. He's coming around, but he's like Chuck E. Cheese in and jumping inside. Well, here they come. It's time to step the fuck up and see what's what. All right. And you know what? With the way Singletary's been running, you could give me 500 on the money line. I'm taking the Bills, baby.
500 on the money line for the Bills, and those are our picks. I'm locking in the wagers. The wagers are locked in. All right.
All right. You know what I want you to do, bro? Maybe I'll do a little bit more hype. You know what? I know we've been talking about doing some of these short bids, especially going on with all the news, believe it or not, throughout all the playoffs and everything else, and we like to keep relevant. There's going to be a lot of giant news coming in the next few days, next couple of weeks, with GM signings, head coach signings. So we're gonna be putting out content. Look for us on YouTube, look for us on Twitter. We're gonna be putting out stuff individually, a lot more short little segments, not our Tuesday night podcast, but we're gonna call them like little short bites from the Big Blue Offensive. All right, you look for those. We're gonna have a few of those. I might even do one for Bills Mafia. I don't know, man. I'm hyped for that game. I had a lot of fun watching it on Saturday night. That fan base is awesome. They really are. They're fun. They're a fun fan base to watch. Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. You know what? To me, I get bored of the same shit. I would be bored out of my mind if Kansas City played Tennessee in the championship game and Green Bay plays Tampa Bay and Green Bay goes to play fucking Kansas City in the Super Bowl. To me, it should be boring. Like, I want to see I want to see Cincinnati in there. I want to see fucking the Bills in there. I want to see some of these other teams and make the NFL more exciting. Some of these teams have some amazing fan bases that don't get as much recognition as they deserve because they're just not a big time franchise like the New York Giants are. So, I just thought that when my team is out and it's done and there's nothing else to pull for, that's the kind of shit I like to get behind. It's a good feel story. And you know what? The Bills are from Western New York. They're part of the state of New York. I'd like to root for all New York teams. So it would be cool to see that kind of shit happen. I don't know. I mean, you hear that all the time, right, Mike? It was cool. Shine Flores, man. He's from Brooklyn, bro. He grew up in Brooklyn. Oh, so that's cool. We can do that kind of shit, right? But we can't get behind guys that are from New York either, right? So why would you not do that? So, and it's not like they're in our division. It's not like I'm a Jets fan and I'm saying this shit because if I was, I'd be like, fuck Buffalo. You know what I mean? But it's not. So they share our colors. We're trying to bring in Joe Shade. I mean, what else do you want? We want them to be successful because hopefully that will translate into the Giants being successful the next years to come when we hire our GM and possible head coach. So that's where I stand with all that. That's why I'm getting behind it. And like I said, Bills Mafia, be on the lookout because I might have some shit for you on Saturday. Let's see how drunk I get by then. But,
can't wait.
Anything to add up to that one?
Man, nah, I think you said it all, man. Just listen, check out our website, man. We posted on the on our Twitter page on the Big Blue Offensive. So go check out our page. Maybe donate if you got some extra cash lying around. You want to donate, get some T-shirts, get some wherever, write a review, anything, man. Come check out the website for us.
Subscribe and like, bro. That's the main thing. Subscribe and like so we get more content out to you guys. You know what? And we're talking about doing more content throughout the week. And these are the type of things that encourages us to see good write-ups, having people subscribe and like, telling the word, spreading it out there. And we're going to help them do that. We're going to keep putting out these little bits. And listen, maybe if you're just a gambler, tell your friends. We talk about gambling all the time. So you don't have to be a Giants fan to tune in at the time, right? No. We like talking about everybody. It's all about the NFL at the end of the day, right? And betting and having a little fun with it. But you know what? With that said, listen, stay safe, have some fun. If you haven't gotten on these apps, jump on them because the giveaways and the promotions are insane. All right. Like even if you don't know what you're doing, you can have a little fun for this weekend and the championship weekend and the Super Bowl. You know, have some fun with it. Like I said, it won't cost you much. You can literally sign up for these things and put in like $10 and it'll give you like 300 free to play with. So, I mean, it's like, even if you don't know what you're doing, you can just follow along with the crowd or pick a team you like or listen to what we say. Who the hell knows, right?
Yeah,
hey,
right.
You know what? So far, if you would have took San Francisco and Cincinnati and Tampa, you'd be a winner last weekend. Just put that out there.
Take that money.
So with that in mind, we're going to wrap up this week. We will definitely be hearing from us throughout the week with little bites, and definitely we'll be back next week with a full episode. Until then, be safe, all right? And let's have some fun this weekend. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.